The question is that the motion be agreed to.
Mr. Speaker.
I called Adrian Rurafi.
Tēnā koe te māngai o te whare o te rā, tēnā koutou ngā mema o te whare nei. Mr. Speaker, it's a privilege and pleasure to stand for the third reading of the Christian Churches New Zealand Property Trust Board Empowering Bill. I sat on the Government and Administration Select Committee for this bill, sir, and I'm absolutely certain that the Christian Churches New Zealand Property Trust, along with the 30 congregations who own 44 properties, are very pleased that we've finally arrived to this day when we have the third reading of this bill. And of course, as the previous speaker outlined, there's been a long history from 1844 right through to today, and I want to focus on a couple of parts of that history. First of all, the agreement in 1929 to have the Christchurch Property Act. And of course, that was an act that was absolutely suitable and appropriate for 1929, but not so much for 2016. So I want to acknowledge the trustees that had the tenacity and the courage, I guess, to start that process in 2012 to get us to where we are today. So I want to congratulate them. So the new terms of the new trust are considerably wider than the previous trust had, and it will enable them not only to deal with the property issues, but also to have the ability to use their funds as they see fit for the purpose of encouraging the promotion of the Christian faith. So I want to congratulate them again for getting this bill to through the process of the House. There were only two submitters to this bill during the select committee process. One of them wanted to include a sunset clause in the bill, but on the advice of officials, that was the committee decided not to put a sunset clause in, basically because there may be something in the future, perhaps one of the parishioners leaves in their will a bequeath to the old trust, not that in a will that's already been written, and so that will now still be able to go to the new trust because that piece of legislation needs to stay on the books for that purpose and the other purposes as well, sir. I want to acknowledge also acknowledge the Government and Administration Committee led by the Honourable Ruth Dyson, and this is one of those bills that had consensus across all of the parties in the on the committee, which is not like every single bill that comes through the House. So it's a good thing when we are able to help organisations, in this case a group of churches, to achieve what they want to achieve. I suppose for me, sir, the issue around churches in a modern society as well. I can quite understand why this legislation has been put up. It is not an easy issue for churches to deal with because there are many, many things in a changing society that churches have to deal with. And I think this is part of the solution of addressing those wider issues for the Christian churches. As I mentioned, the new trust does give them wider powers. I think that one of the big issues for churches today is obviously the diminishing congregations, the ageing congregations, and it's an issue that all churches are dealing with it. So I see this as part of perhaps addressing the organisation of the Christian churches for the future. So I don't propose to extend this contribution to this bill unnecessarily. I think the people that are affected by this bill have waited long enough, and I'm pleased to commend the bill to the House. Kia ora.